Greetings, greetings, bonjour, ujjayi. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are returning. My name is Tameka Gray and I want to share with you today a restorative practice for depression. This time of the year and throughout the year, we all face some level of depression. More and more scientific studies are showing that yoga is a therapeutic way of helping with depression. Yoga can help to boost levels of certain fluids in the body while decreasing certain fluids in the body. Yes. Because this is a restorative practice, you will need some props. Blankets, bolsters, and blocks. If you don't have these particular items, don't worry. You could grab whatever blankets that you have, maybe some pillows to replace the bolsters, maybe some thick books, or a pot to replace the blocks. Grab whatever you have and let's get into this practice today. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Come onto your mat or maybe you sit in a comfortable chair. If you are on the mat, we're going to start in Sukhasana. If you're sitting in a chair, just simply have your ankles under your knees, sitting up tall. If you're here in Sukhasana, you may grab some blocks, maybe offer yourself some support there, or maybe not. But while we are here seated, you can have your palms face down for grounding in, or maybe you bring the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb to promote universal consciousness. Feel like your spine is straight, maybe roll the shoulders back and down a few times. Feel like there's a line connecting to the crown of your head, and that string or line is reaching way up into the cosmos. Your connection, you're connected to all that is good and supportive and nourishing. Now, stare straight ahead. Or maybe you close your eyes. Another option is to stare at the floor maybe 3 feet away from you. Do whatever you can to help yourself to tune into yourself. Here we're going to take some breaths. Of course, we're breathing now, but we're going to slow down these breaths and be mindful of the amount of time that we spend on the inhale and the exhale, knowing that when we exhale for a longer time, it helps to release stress, it helps to bring back balance, and also supports us in our quest for relieving depression. Now we're going to start with the exhale. And as we exhale, we're going to do it to a count of 8. And then on the inhale, we are going to inhale to a count of 4. So again, exhaling to a count of 8, inhaling to a count of 4. Keep the spine feeling tall. Keep that parallel position or relationship between the chin and the floor. Hands are in their place. On the count of 3, we will begin. 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the mouth or the nose. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in and exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath and exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And last exhale here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Release control of your breath. Observe how your breath is managing all on its own. Close your eyes and listen and feel the air moving in and out of your body. Take your right hand and place it over your heart. Take the left hand and place it over your navel and press in gently. Slow inhale here, inhaling through the nose and releasing. Beautiful. You can release your hand from your heart and from your navel. Throughout the rest of this practice, hold on to those slow breaths as much as possible. Let's come into our next position for today. And we'll be doing a cow-cat tilt using the wall. I did not call out the wall as a prop, but it is a prop. So hopefully you have a wall near you or some sort of substitute, maybe the back of a couch, right? But we'll come to the wall. The best way to get the feet or legs against the wall is to start on your side. So come onto your side body and then roll up and place the feet on the wall and then make adjustments. So once the feet are on the wall, we want to feel like we have a 90-degree angle, right? So adjust as needed. Once you find where you feel like your 90-degree angle is, maybe you have a mirror that you could check or someone there to support you, or maybe just use your senses, right? And support yourself as best you can in finding a 90-degree angle. And then as you're ready, we're going to tilt the pelvis up and then down. So tilting the pelvis up is going to bring the lumbar spine to press into the earth. And then as we tilt the pelvis down, the lumbar spine is going to lift as the hips press down into the earth. So go ahead and practice that motion, going slowly, being mindful. Good. And now we'll connect the breath with the movement. All right, so exhale as you're tilting the hips or the tailbone up. Exhale, navel is pressing down towards the earth. And then inhale, pressing the hips towards the earth. The navel rises up, the lumbar spine rises up. Maybe you press the shoulder blades down into the mat. And then exhale, curling the hips, pelvis moves up. Keep going, inhaling, pressing the hips down. Keep the breath connected to the movement. Exhale, tilting up. Good, keep going, yes. Inhale, tilting down. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, hips tilt down. Exhale, hips tilt up, navel, chest, everything else heads towards the earth. Inhale, tilting the pelvis down. The belly rises up, the heart rises up. Press the shoulder blades down into the mat. Exhale, tilting the pelvis bone up. Spine comes down to connect with the mat. Good. We'll do one more round here. Inhale, hips down. Exhale, tilting up. Good. And relax. If you'd like to, you could do that a few more times. If not, just relax here. Then bring your knees in towards your chest and roll over to the right side. Staying close to the mat, we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. Option to use a block here. If the block doesn't feel very comfy in the lower back, you could use a blanket or maybe a blanket on top of the block. I'm going to use a block today. So we'll first come into a regular bridge pose. Knees are bent, feet flat to the mat. Oh, let me grab my timer. And I forgot to mention water. Please have some water nearby. After every yoga practice, it is great to drink some water. All right. So here we are, coming into our regular bridge pose. Walk the feet in towards the body as much as possible. And then pressing the feet down into the earth, lift the hips up and bring the block so that it is right under your lower back. Just under the lower back. So you may need to play with this a little bit to find where that spot is for you. Yoga also helps with body awareness, so that's awesome. But once you find what's good for you, what's going to help you in this restorative practice, bring in the stillness. Find your peace. Maybe here you bring in cactus arms, depending on what you need. Come into your stillness, slow breaths when you remember. You can close your eyes here. Holding our bridge pose, just notice what may come up for you. Try to always come back to your breath. If there's something that you can do to bring in maybe 2% more comfort, go ahead and do that. free to engage the core. Feel free to support yourself in the bridge. A reminder to relax the jaw muscles, relax the face. We'll be here for 2 more minutes, so invitation to take some slow breaths, reconnect with the breath. Invitation to press the feet down into the mat, maybe lifting the hips up from the block just slightly. Still connected, but relieving some of the support from the block. Or maybe you just stay where you are. Enjoying these last few moments before we come out and head into our next asana or position. Awesome. As we start to come out of our bridge pose, press the feet into the mat. Scoop the tailbone forward and uplift the hips so that you can remove the block. Allow the hips to settle down and connect with the mat. Just resting here for a moment. Then bring the knees in towards the chest. Maybe give yourself a hug, a moment of gratitude for coming to your mat today. And then roll over to the right side and we'll come into our next asana, which is a supported child's pose. In this child's pose, we will need the big bolster, maybe all the props that you got, but definitely the big bolster. So we'll come onto our knees and hopefully your props are nearby. We'll bring the big bolster into this restorative practice for depression. I'm going to set the small bolster aside. I don't believe I'll be using that this time around. Bring the knees to the width of the mat, and the big toes are touching in the back. Then bring the bolster right in between the legs. So there are a few options here. We can stay here and come into our supported child's pose, melting the heart towards the bolster. Another option is to grab your blocks or your block replacements and stack them in a way to create an incline. And we'll do that by first putting the block on the short height and then the higher height. And folding here into our child's pose. You may use the blankets. You may place a blanket under your ankles. Maybe unfold it a few times so that you don't have too much elevation, right? We're just looking for more comfort here. Place the blanket about where you think your ankles will be, of course, making adjustments as needed. Adjust, adjust, adjust is the way to life. The only constant is change. So find what adjustments you need for your practice today. All right, so we finally get the blankets under the ankles. Come back to, if you're doing the incline on the bolster, maybe you use the blankets to support your arms, right? So as you're resting, we have the blanket here. I'll put this on the other side for myself. Find what you need, make any micro adjustments, and settle in to this child's pose. Let's set the timer here. And here it is very key, very important to take those slow, deep, full breaths. Allow each breath to bring you deeper to a state of letting go and allowing your supportive props to support you. If you'd like, You could turn the cheek and place one cheek on the bolster. Maybe you wrap the hands around the block. Find what can help you to feel more comfort and ease in this asana. If there's something that you can do to find 2% more comfort, 2% more ease, allow yourself to go there. If you're feeling any discomfort in the knees, maybe you place the blanket under your knees or maybe behind your knees, in between the fold of the legs. Release any tension in the shoulders. See where you can increase ease in the shoulders. you decided to place one of your cheeks on the bolster, now would be a good time to turn to the other cheek, placing the other cheek on the bolster. Checking in, release any tension in the face, the shoulders, relax. option here, if you turned one cheek to the bolster, to now bring your forehead and nose back towards the bolster. Maybe you rest your chin on the bolster if it's too much pressure for the nose. But see if you can connect the forehead and the nose to the bolster if you haven't already. Let the shoulder blades drop down. Find the ease. We'll take a few more breaths here before moving into our next asana. And we gently start to come out of our supported child's pose. So yummy. Use your hands, press yourself up. And then swing the legs, or maybe gently bring the legs over to one side. As we head into our next, as we head into our next asana, which is legs, as we head into our next asana, which is legs up the wall. For legs up the wall, we will be using the big bolster. So set that close by, clear the space so that we can come into our next position. I certainly hope that you're already starting to feel more balance, more restoration. Maybe you keep a blanket close by and place it over your body, or maybe you place a blanket under your shoulders. So I'll keep the blanket close by. All right. Anytime that we are using the wall as a support, we want to get to the wall by starting on the side body. So that's what we're going to do here. But first we'll bring the bolster about where you think your hips may be. Leaving a little space, because we're going to not have the legs go directly up the wall. We're going to sort of create a sort of a slant here. So slanted legs up the wall. So I'm going to place my bolster, it's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches away from the wall. I'm going to bring myself to the outside, place my hips onto the bolster, and then bring my side body down to the mat. Then turning, bringing the feet up to the wall. I'll press the soles of my feet into the wall with the knees bent just to find exactly where I want my bolster to be. So pressing the feet into the wall, lift the hips, move the bolster as you need. It should be under your lower back, and then straighten the legs. I opted not to use the blanket, but if you want to use the blanket under your shoulders, you don't want it too thick. But when you come down onto your side body, make sure the blanket is where your shoulders are going to be. Yep. And maybe you'll have to adjust that. So lift the right shoulder, bring the blanket down. Lean over to the right, lifting the left shoulder, bring the blanket down. Soles of the feet to the wall, knees bent, lift the hips, adjust the bolster. Find what is going to work for you today. So for me, this slant is a little bit too much. I want my feet to go up a little higher. So I'm going to roll off the bolster and make that adjustment. I'm going to bring the bolster closer to the wall. Bring the blanket a little closer. Hips onto the bolster, side body to the mat, rolling up. And now I find what feels good for me. I'll leave the blanket under my shoulders, no problem. Make any micro adjustments, make any resets that you need to. I'm setting the timer for us. Enjoy your stillness here. So arms are by your side. Maybe you find cactus arms. Find your sweet spot and relax in it. Checking in, relax the jaw muscles, the face. See where you may be able to find 2% more comfort. Wonderful. We'll start to come out of this asana and heading into our next. I invite you to take a few slow breaths here. Awesome. Then bend your knees back in towards your chest. Maybe give yourself another hug. Why not? And then allow the knees to fall towards the right, pulling your whole body towards the right. We're coming into our resting pose, Shavasana. For Shavasana, hold on to at least one blanket to cover yourself. Maybe you grab another blanket or small bolster and place that under your knees or under your lower back, or both. But I'm going to move this big bolster out of the way. I'm going to hold on to the mat, the blanket to cover me. I am going to place the small bolster under my knees, but do what suits you. Find what you need for this practice today. All right. Before laying down completely into our resting pose, corpse pose, Shavasana pose to help us train on how to relax and release and detach. Before we get there, sitting up on the mat, go ahead and start to cover yourself with the blanket. Or maybe if you have someone there to support you in this, maybe you can go ahead and lay down and they'll cover you with the blanket. I love to do that for my students every Saturday at 10 a.m. But here we are. And then slowly come down to the mat. Make any adjustments that you need. We're going to be here as long as you like. Once you've found your stillness in Shavasana, arms by your side, palms face up, maybe you tuck the shoulder blades under. Relax the toes. Relax your ankles. Relax your shins and calf muscles. Relax your knees. Relax your thighs. Relax your hips. Relax your belly. Relax your torso. Relax your fingers. Relax your wrists. Relax your forearms. Relax your elbows. Relax your upper arm, biceps and triceps. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jawbone. Relax the middle of your forehead. Relax your head. Relax your mind. The whole body relaxes on the mat. The whole body is at peace and fully supported. Stay here as long as you like. Thank you so much for coming to your mat today and joining me. Until we meet again, Namaste.